Xbox announced the Elite Core Controller, a new white version of the Elite controller that sells at a lower price point while missing out on some functions, at least temporarily to an extent. And while orders for this controller are live, it actually doesn't ship out for about another week, but Xbox actually sent me one early to check out, so I've had some hands-on time with that. I want to talk about my experiences with that versus the Elite 2 and whether or not the amount of money you're saving is worth grabbing that over the Series 2, or if there's maybe some reasons why you might want to wait for a little bit or just grab this one right when you can. First things first, I want to clarify one little point of confusion that I think I've seen amongst a few people, not a common one, but still. The Elite Core Controller is the same controller as the Elite 2. There is no actual major change to the internals or any kind of major function that is completely removed from the controller. It is the same build quality. It has the same potential functions and features that the Elite Series 2 controller has. However, it is just missing a lot of the additional items that would ship alongside the Elite 2, while also coming in a different color, being white rather than black. So things like build quality, the rubberized grip, trigger stops, the adjustable sticks even, those are all things that the Elite Core is going to offer just like the Elite 2 does, and potentially it has the ability to do the same additional functions like having the back paddles and swappable sticks, swappable D-pad, but you're not able to actually take advantage of those things because it just doesn't come with them. Now, Xbox is giving the option to buy all these accessories alongside the core kit. However, it looks like it's just one bundled complete kit option right now for $60. You can't piecemeal it, so if you really want, say, back paddles but not adjustable stick heads, it's not something where you can just buy that option on its own just yet. You have to buy the full complete kit, which when combined with the price of the core controller comes out to being just a little more than the Elite 2's MSRP. The Elite 2 is listed at $180, the core controller is at $130, $50 off, and then the package at $60 ends up putting you at a little bit more total cost. Something else worth keeping in mind about this is that all these additional accessories and everything is, again, the same thing that's on the Elite 2. So if you already have an Elite 2 controller and you just really like the white look of the core one and you want to get that or upgrade, change, whatever, you could buy that controller and everything you have from the Elite 2 is going to move over and work just fine. So with that in mind, let's take a quick look at the actual lineup then of Xbox controllers going from the regular one to the core to the Elite 2 and really see what you're getting at each price point. For $65 to $70, depending on which exact color or pattern you get, the regular Xbox controller offers everything you need to just effectively play games. It's a controller. It's got all the buttons you need. Done. Simple. For $60 more, basically being a little under double the price, you can get this new core controller. And what that's offering is an internal rechargeable battery rather than having to rely on still using AA's. You'll also get a charge cable so you can plug it into your system or whatever kind of power source you want to use to charge it up. You get a rubberized grip that is more comfortable than the plastic grip you get on a regular controller. It also tends to hold up a little better against sweat, so if you're the type to sweat a lot while playing games competitively, you'll get a little bit of that slip-on plastic that you don't really get on a rubber grip like this one. You have trigger stops that have 3 different levels that are either full pull, half pull, or basically just effectively making it a button. The benefit here is that if you're playing something where being able to rapidly pull the trigger very quickly would be beneficial, like a semi-auto weapon, well then having a shorter trigger stop is really handy for that. While the core controller doesn't come with any additional stick heads to swap in and out on the controller itself, you do get the tension key that you can use to adjust the stick tension. So you basically lift one of the sticks off, put the tension key and turn it, and that changes how much resistance the sticks give you, which was one of the things I really liked about the Elite 2, because one of the things about the Elite that never really sat right with me is that the tension on those sticks is a little more light, fast, and fluid compared to regular controllers, but I actually like to have a little bit of that extra resistance, so I always have that turned up. I'm glad that's a part of the core controller. I will say one thing that bothers me a tiny bit is that because the core doesn't come with the carrying case, you don't have anywhere to store the tension key, and as someone who is very good at losing small little optional parts, I don't love that you have the tension key and nowhere to really put it, but at the end of the day, having that function is still great, and you have the ability to swap between what's actually 4 different profiles. You can have a default profile where it's just the controller, acts like a regular controller, and then 3 customizable profiles where you can change stick sensitivities, button mappings, all that good stuff. Then for another $50 if you buy the Elite 2, or $60 if you buy the complete accessory kit separately from the core afterwards, you get swappable sticks that come with a variety of stick heights, different shapes, designs. Things can be more comfortable depending on your playstyle. You get the swappable D-pad, which I will say for me personally, I really like the faceted D-pad, and I'm glad that's the one that comes stock with the core controller. If, however, you miss the plus shape design and you find that better for how you play games, that is something that's going to be included as part of that more expensive kit. You're going to get the back paddles, which in my mind is really one of of the biggest benefits of grabbing the increased kit. I really like having at least 2 back buttons to have access to, just to be able to have some things keyed to it. It just makes certain things in some video games a lot easier to access and use. So in my mind, that's actually the biggest upgrade here. And lastly, the carrying case, which is also a charge case. You can place the Elite 2 or even the core controller down in this case, close it on up, plug the case in, and that's going to charge the controller when you're not using it, which is really handy. More importantly, at least for me, is again, I lose small parts easily, so the case gives you a place to store everything away, not only the tension key, but also your additional D-pad and all your stick and back paddle options. With all that in mind, I think the core controller is at a great midpoint price. I do think 120 would have been a little more aggressive, but 130 still gives you a lot of bang for your buck over what a regular controller offers, and basically gives you all the main comfort and build quality features of the Elite controller without all the extra bells and whistles you might not necessarily need. I will say though that as things are right now at this moment when I'm making this video, there's a couple of reasons why I might advise holding off on the core just for right now. First off, for right now at least, as of this video being posted, the Elite Series 2 controller is actually selling under MSRP on Microsoft's website. It's still the full 180 if you look at a lot of other retailers, but if you buy it directly from Microsoft's website, it's actually $155 right now. So instead of being $50 more than the core controller, it's only $25, which makes a lot of those additional benefits worth it. Now, if you don't care again about all that kind of bonus stuff, and you also like the look of the white more, absolutely, go for the core controller right now. I think that's a good price. The other thing, though, that has me a little hesitant is alongside the announcement of the core controller last week, Xbox also announced that Elite controllers are coming to Design Lab this holiday season. And we don't actually know all the specifics of how that's going to work yet. And because of that, look, I just think it's a little hasty to grab a core controller when there's going to be these additional options through Design Lab that might give you a better personalized choice. The trailer for Design Lab really only showcased changing the main body color of the Elite controller. It showed the same white that the core controller is in, and then cycled through a bunch of different colors like red, blue, and purple. So immediately right there, if you want a color and not just a monochrome look, that's something that's going to be offered. And right now, it sounds like there's going to be more choices than just that. That's all the trailer showed, but Xbox has kind of done a lot of post clarifications to say, yes, there are going to be more choices than just the body color. We'll have more to say later. And part of that I'm really curious about, and we have not gotten an answer on yet, is whether or not you can actually piecemeal accessory choices with that. Because that's one of the things about the core controller option right now that throws me a little off, is that it's cool that you can buy the other accessories separately, but it's a little weird that I can't piecemeal them, because there's certain ones that, depending on how you play, you may or may not care about. For instance, while I understand the benefits of swappable stick heads, it's not a thing that I really use much anymore. The kind of games that I was playing in the past where those would be handy, I'm just not doing much these days, and so I don't really need them. Back buttons, though, at least a pair of them, is something that I really enjoy having on a controller and that I would want to get. And so the idea of having to buy a full $60 kit to get 2 specific paddles when I don't really want anything else that comes in the kit, that gives me a little bit of hesitation. And so I'm really curious if Xbox with Design Lab is going to take a page out of some competing pro controller companies like, say, Scuf, where you can pick and choose specific additional features and then pay those out. Sure, you're not necessarily getting the best value buying individual pieces, but if at the end of the day you only want one specific extra piece, you're spending less money. So again, if you really like the white and black look of the core controller and you don't care about any other features, that's a good choice right now. But if there's any part of you that just maybe wants to grab one specific thing, or you would like it another color, or you just kind of want to see what Design Lab actually ends up offering, I think there's a little bit of a reason just wait a little bit right now. The core controller is a good option, but we're going to be seeing even more soon, and I really want to make sure people are aware of the fact that, that's happening, so you don't spend $130 right now and then go, oh wait, I could have spent $20 more and gotten the actual perfect controller for me because it's in whatever color or has whatever extra item. So those are my thoughts on the Elite Core. I think it's a great addition to the full lineup, but with just kind of other unknowns going on right now, might be some reasons to hold off just for a little longer. I will have it linked down below in the description if you just want to grab one, because it is exactly what you want and need right now, along with some of the other options like the Elite Series 2. As always, if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button to let me know, or thumbs down if you didn't. It's good info for me to have. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you guys later.